guys were filming things. I didn't know who they were. I asked at the desk if there was a commercial or what was going on. They said they didn't know who it was, and I saw them film me, and I asked them to stop filming me. When I came outside, they were at this entrance, and they kept getting closer, and they were filming me. I was hiding behind the pillar. I said, I do not want to be on film, and they followed me over to my car, and the guy walked around, and I called the cops.
Okay. They walked around your vehicle?
They walked around filming my license and all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to be a victim for disorderly conduct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can I get your ID?
Yes, you may.
Okay. This includes maybe if they do end up getting charged for disorderly conduct, going to court and testifying and all that. Okay.
You bet. No problem. I don't believe in disrupting services.
Okay.
That's not my current address.
I'll get that all that information from you right now. Just give me 1 minute.
I like that you guys all have tattoos.
Huh?
I like that you all have tattoos.
I'm like the only one probably in the department without it.
Really? Hi. How are you?
Good, good. I had called right after you walked out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You saw them when they were talking to me?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for staying.
Absolutely.
Did they tell you anything? Were they?
I don't know. I couldn't really understand or hear what it was he was saying because he was talking at a low volume, and I wasn't about to ask him what.
Okay. What's your current address right now, ma'am?
My physical address or your mailing address? Physical address.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. Obviously, it's a public building. They're allowed to record anyone that's in the public building, being that it's, they're following you around and doing all that. That's what we're trying to figure out right now with their supervisors as far as like the disorderly conduct charges and all that. So if you don't mind just giving us a few minutes,
No problem.
then while we discuss this, and then I'll get back to you, okay?
No problem. Thank
you.
Did you want to get my info? Or?
Did they bother you at all or anything?
Yeah, they were. I was asking them who they were, what they were doing, where they're from. The tall guy said he's from South Dakota. I said, you know what I mean? I said, what are you doing? I said, you're in a federal building and you're filming all of us.
Yeah, they have the right to film everyone.
And he just had the camera up. Well, it was very unnerving. And then they literally went behind the passport door, and the Asian gentleman, which I think he's a postmaster, he told him, don't come back here.
We just asked the postmaster, the Asian gentleman.
Yeah.
He said he was never behind the door. We just had a conversation with him.
Oh my!
He was behind the door.
He was absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? It's one of those things where
he actually shut the door. He told them, "Are you getting a passport?" And the guy in the blue Dodger shirt said, well, what if I told you I was getting a passport? Do I have a right to be here? Do you have an appointment? He said, you guys need to leave. You need to get out. So they just started walking out, and then he shut the doors on them. And now they're out in the lobby with all of us.
Okay.
Is that your unit back there?
Oh yeah, all the way back there. They need to get out?
Just open it. I'll back it up to you.
Alright, it's open.
Me too.
I have a post office box because it's private.
Show going on here. Just contain them.
I was hoping you didn't leave.
No, I called them. I was calling them when I was out there. They walked around my car. They were in my window, and I said, I do not do that.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. Obviously, the trespassing, they are going to be charged with trespassing, being that they were asked to leave and they didn't leave.
Right.
The business or the post office has the right to trespassing.
Sure.
As far as recording, it's a public building. They have the right to record.
Okay.
I believe once they come, this is my belief,
Right.
and I'm going to go ahead, like I told you, I'm going to talk it out with my supervisor anyway, so I'm going to discuss this with my supervisor. My belief is that once they're around you, you're telling them, hey, back off. That's disorderly conduct. You know, when they're behind you inside of the building, I wouldn't call that disorderly conduct if they're recording everyone. But once they come around your vehicle and are recording you and recording your...
I didn't speak to them when they were around my vehicle.
Okay. That's fine. Did you ask them to get away from your car? Or?
Several times I told them I don't want them to. I do not want them to record me, and I do not want them to follow me.
Okay.
As soon as I said something to the one, they came. It's like they were looking for a reason to be agitated.
Right.
Well, recording, like I said, recording itself, it's not illegal. They have the right to record anyone on the street.
That's bizarre.
They have the right to record me, and
yeah, I saw that too. They were recording.
Yeah, and that's their legal right. As it is, this conversation we're having is being recorded too. So, and that's just
that's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that fact. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's their legal right as far as recording in public. They could even go to our station and, believe it or not, go inside and record. They're not allowed in the.
But they can't go in behind doors that
no,
say employees
correct.
only
They could be in the
like
lobby.
that.
Yeah, they could be in the lobby.
It totally
and
seemed
record.
to
And we
me
get that,
they
believe
were
it or not, we
looking
get individuals like them on a monthly basis.
Seriously?
Yeah, and our station. So.
It totally seemed like they were looking for a reason to get agitated,
Yes,
to make a statement of
I
some
completely agree
sort.
with you.
Right.
And when I approached them and started asking him questions, he was just like, you know, had the camera like right here to my nose. He goes, I can stand here and tape you all day long. I said, well, what are you doing here? I said, do you realize? I said, you're kind of freaking people
and they
Mm-hmm.
do, unfortunately, have a right to record people, and
I said,
it's unfortunate that
you
our
don't have
court
anything on
system
your
goes
shirt
that route.
saying where you're from.
Yeah, if it was a
Nothing.
college project or
Yes.
something, I would be willing to say, okay, cool, but they wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't
say.
give any information. Zippo. That's
Yeah.
what was so scary.
So let us roundtable this with our supervisor, because like I said, we do this on a monthly basis with individuals,
It's too bad.
and a lot of the times, like, they could be in our police station recording there for 10 hours, and there's nothing we could do. They go outside and record our police vehicles, and there's nothing we could do. So
So basically, it's just trespassing, and that's assuming.
and that's because the business wants to do that.
Right.
So our lieutenant is here. I'm gonna chat with them real quick and
That's fine.
see as far as the prosecution for the disturbance. Okay.
Okay.
And if not, like I said, the least they're gonna get is arrested for trespassing, because they were asked to leave the business and they didn't leave. So
Okay.
okay.
All right. So you don't need any information from me. I can go.
No, you're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
Actually walk all the way down the hall.
Well, and I don't think people should be breaking for a welfare check on the way either.
I was wondering if you would be interested in listening about a personal story I have about government officials maliciously prosecuting me for my critical views against corrupt government employees. The list of people and departments involved include 2 random citizens, 5 to 10 police officers from Goodyear, Arizona Police Department, 3 postal employees, including the Goodyear postmaster, 3 public defenders, 2 prosecutors, and 2 judges. 2 random citizens overreacted when I was recording a documentary with a friend at the post office. The 2 citizens called 911 and lied to them about us causing a lot of ruckus, going behind doors. People are very upset because they won't give their names. He said it was none of your business. He's taking my photo right now. They are standing outside of the post office photographing. They are harassing me, cussing at me. I asked them to leave me alone. They won't leave me alone. I'm feeling threatened. They are being extremely disruptive. All lies. Except for the part about us not giving our names and filming them. And the snowball effect had begun. To protect them from any follow-up litigation or public complaints, they resorted to lies and false narratives. One lie gives birth to more lies to cover up that lie. One broken law births another broken law to cover up the first violation. Then corrupted cover ups lead to more corruption to cover up the original corruption, and the beat goes on and on. I think government is allowing situations like this to get this out of hand, because if the cover-up grows big enough, the corrective measures are no longer realistic. The postmaster lied to the police by saying we entered a no-access area that was clearly marked no entry. The 2 citizens lied about us harassing and cussing at them. The cops showed up and jumped to conclusions and arrested us to stop our recordings. They found themselves smack dab right in the middle of a First Amendment audit. They might have felt embarrassed and ambushed for recording them and putting them on the spot. Police commonly arrest First Amendment auditors in retaliation in these situations. And then the Blue Line Brotherhood and Special Protections start exposing their complete lack of respect for the Constitution, justice, or even a fair trial. The city must be upset with us for putting them in the spotlight and for how silly they look for not understanding proper procedure for trespassing on public property. One good example of justice system corruption that they are responsible for was that my co-defendant's phone was confiscated as evidence at the arrest. They obtained a search warrant and he even cooperated with detectives and shared the password. None of that confiscated evidence was included in his discovery. It was not useful to the prosecution, so the state did not share that exculpatory evidence in violation of Brady v. Maryland. They withheld the evidence as long as they possibly could in efforts to cover up the whole misunderstanding that made the post office, 2 citizens, and many Goodyear police officers looking like a joke to the First Amendment auditing community. The First Amendment auditing community claim First Amendment protections, and it is at the expense of the egos of tyrannical government. I use their own motto. If they have nothing to hide, they have nothing to fear. They spite me for being right. Some people aren't familiar with the First Amendment community's purpose. I try to inspire others to record our interactions with government and expose their unprofessional interactions with citizens. I don't know a better way to expose their true nature and highlighting tyranny and educating others. The first natural reaction is to find what I do obnoxious. It is an easily misunderstood movement. Recording public officials in the course of their duties sometimes reveals how little understanding and respect police have for the law and people that are critical of government abuse of power. It also exposes how much they spite us for documenting them in hopes to keep them honest. I expose tyrannical government officials who abuse their authority for bruising their egos. AKA, contempt of cop. We also expose the Blue Line Brotherhood of cover-ups and corruption. I'm sure you understand the importance of running checks and balances on our government to keep them in line, but when matters like this snowball this far into 2 years of malicious prosecution, they will never admit any fault or apologize. I have another case out of SD that I had dirt on many police and high public officials including the chief of police and the mayor. It comes to a point that they would have to completely reset the entire local government if they were ever actually held accountable for their crimes and abusing their authority. They just could not fathom a reset. The corrective measures became no longer realistic. I was railroaded and the same thing is happening here in AZ. BrianHydraz@gmail.com. Big Shitey.